Welcome to another episode of Compa Financial Therapy. I'm here with my compadre Mike. Mike, how was your week this week?
This week was good. It was hot, but it was good.
It's good.
It's good.
So,
How was your week?
it was good.
Yeah.
You know, somebody asked me about buying cars.
Ándale.
So, it gave me the idea we should talk about that.
Okay.
I know you're a fan of buying used cars.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of buying new cars. Right. And the reason I like buying new cars, because I know within 5-6 years, I don't have to worry about anything in the car.
You talking
Unless
about
you
maintenance?
and you or you have a limit, you know,
Right.
that's the only time you have to worry about it. But I've had a lot of family and friends who buy used cars. That's their primary choice,
Right.
and you know their car breaks down. I remember one time we went on a family trip, and somebody in the trip had just purchased a used car. We went to Sequoia, and the car breaks down. First time they took it out of the city.
Damn.
And so it's like,
It was meant for the hood then, eh?
probably. And so that's why I'm not a big fan. I don't do really well in fixing cars. So I know a lot of people in the barrio, they could do the mechanics, but I think as over the years, cars are getting more difficult to fix.
And that's what I've heard. I heard a lot of the stuff, they're becoming more electronic based.
Yeah.
So it's more electrical work, and at some point, homie down the street's not going to be able to fix that car.
Which is getting closer. I think with the next 5-6 years, it's probably going to get that way.
I know the car that we bought, this last one that we bought, 2015, we bought it used. And so far, zero problems. Zero problems.
So what was your success that you didn't get a limit or I always felt that when you buy a used car, you're buying somebody else's problem most of the time.
Right. So here's what happened. My wife's the one that wanted that car. So she had done all the research online, and she was like obsessed, like trying to find the car. This was the car of her dreams. And so she was looking online to see where she can buy a nice Infinity. She did all the research, and if she's really into it, let's go do it. If she's like, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
You have to do it.
And I'm not going to do the research for her. You want it? Let's go do the research. So then she started researching, and she found a good dealer. We went to one dealer here down the street where they sell Infinities. They may sell Nissans, or I don't know, right? And we went there, and we went there to go buy an Infinity, and they were trying to sell us a Nissan. And the guy was really nice, really cool guy, but we told him specifically we want this Infinity. And he kept trying to sell us a brand new Nissan. We had even scheduled an appointment for the next day. He was going to get out the Infinities that he had. He had like 3 on site. We went the following day. He's like, hey, I can't get the keys to Infinity right now. The mechanic left or whatever it was. He's like, but in the meantime, can I show you this brand new Nissan Altima or whatever? I said, sure, show me whatever you want. And that's what he was trying to sell us, a brand new Nissan Altima. And I was like, bro, this is not what I came for. I came for an Infinity. So we left there, and I feel bad because the guy chased us. Like, we left in our car, and he's like, we're not allowed to let people leave. We can get a write-up. We can get fired. I said, whatever, bro. We left in our fucking car. And the poor guy was running behind us. He's like, hey, let me get you that car. I was like, nah, bro, we're done.
You should have told them, hey, give me 50% off on that Nissan. I'll take it.
That's true.
That means he was desperate. Well, what time of month was that when you bought it? Or is it the beginning of the month, the end of the month, the weekend? Was it?
I want to say it was mid-month.
Mid-month?
I think like mid-September.
Yeah, September is a good month to buy.
Right.
My experience with buying cars, especially new, is time makes a difference. If you buy towards the end of the month,
right,
versus the end of the quarter, end of the year,
right,
you get better prices. The reason that my understanding is if a dealer does not make its quota,
right,
then for that month, they're willing to negotiate a little bit more.
That's what I've heard.
If it's in the quarter and they didn't meet their whole quarter quota, you can probably get better deals. At the end of the year, even bigger deals. You get stuff that they need to get out of to bring in the new cars for the following year. Yeah. And so I found that works really well. So timing it, if you can't time it, you need a car. I find that if you go to like the credit unions or the Costco auto buying programs where they look for the car for you,
Right.
Sometimes you get good deals that way as well.
And that's what we did. We ended up financing through our credit union.
Yeah.
For a used car, and it was a pretty good deal. Well, I think it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, credit union is usually better than typical banks or the dealer.
Right.
If you have decent credit or good credit.
Right.
If you have bad credit, I don't know if they give you I don't think anybody gives you good deals.
No good deals. High interest rate. Yeah.
Yeah, I found that these auto service buying programs work really well, but I think in order to take advantage of them, you have to go look for the car first, find out what you want, the color, the features. Then you go to these auto buying service places and say, hey, look for this car with these features.
Right.
And they do pretty good. I've purchased 3 using the auto buying program, and then I've purchased a couple other ones on the end of the month or that end of the quarter type cars. The only downside with the end of the month or the end of the quarter is they'll have like 1, maybe 2 different cars that they really want to get rid of.
And it might not be the color you want, right?
It might not be the color you want. But if you just want a car, that specific brand or the specific model, you could get a really, really good deal.
Did you end up buying used or new?
New.
Okay.
Again, I don't like buying used because I've had bad experience with friends that they buy these cars, they buy somebody else's problems.
But are they buying them from big dealerships, or are they buying them like off, just maybe something down
I think
the
a little
street?
bit of both. But I think now you got what is it, CarMax or Toyota, where they guarantee it for a certain number of days, maybe. But a lot of financial advisors, they recommend buying used versus new,
Right.
because once you get the car out of the lot, you do lose a couple $1,000s right off the bat.
That's what I've heard. The new cars, as soon as you drive them off, it's already considered used. You end up losing 20% of the value.
Exactly. But I figure that I keep my cars for a long time, 10, 20 years on average. I get my money's worth on the cars. I drive them till they're gone. But I have purchased quite a bit because of business and for family and stuff like that. So that's why I've had a lot of experience in buying cars, not because I've owned a lot of cars, but just because the need.
Right. And I've done both. I've done new. The Nissan that I have now, I bought a 2006 brand new. But Nissans, I don't know, for whatever reason, they're really good cars. At least the ones that I've had have been really good. I think the one that I have now, 2006, minor problems.
So how did you buy that one, the new one? Through end of the month, through auto buying program?
At the time, I wasn't into that stuff. And then I knew it also. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go buy a fucking car. I ended up getting financed through my other credit union. And I was like, yeah, let me borrow, I think it was $25,000. I was like, let me borrow $25,000, I'm going to go buy a car. So they approved it. But I wasn't thinking, I didn't have these strategies to go at the end of the month or trying to negotiate. I'm like, all right, this is a car. To me, that was my dream car, the 2006 Xterra. So I bought it. And to me, I was like, eh. Now I look back, like, there was some other ways I could have got around it.
Yeah, usually what I do, at first I figure out which model I like. I'll do a couple like test drives, like which one feels good. Once I narrow it down to the car that I'm looking for, then I'll go to different dealers and kind of shop around to see what the base value of the car is and the average. And then I'll go to the end of the month, or I'll do the auto buying programs from the credit union or any other services, and then look for the car. Whoever gives me the better price, that's where I go get the car. But that's because I'm not in a rush to buy a car. One time when I got into an accident, I was in a rush, and that one I needed a car. I was on a loaner car, but it was towards the end of the quarter, so I ended up still I found the car I wanted, didn't get the color I wanted, but it was really cheap.
Right.
I couldn't beat that price anywhere else. And so that's something that I learned over the years, that, take advantage of those auto buyings, the end of the month. If you strategize, you can save quite a bit. For example, when my dad was looking to buy a truck, we went shopping around. Same thing was end of quarter. I think, I don't remember what quarter it was, but it was like the second quarter of the year.
Right.
And we shopped around. He looked at a bunch of different trucks, and we ended up going to the same Cerritos Auto Square Center. And there was this one truck, $26,000. Had everything he wanted, leather seats, it had everything he wanted. And typically, every dealer we saw was above 30. Like, why is this one so cheap? It's just that they needed to get it out of the lot.
Dang, so $4,000 cheaper than everywhere else you were seeing?
Yeah, that's the cheapest that we found it. And so we ended up putting an offer. We ended up getting, I think, out the door like $26,000, and because we still negotiated down a little bit more.
Right.
And one of my dad's coworkers wanted the same type of truck. He went shopping around. He couldn't get anything lower than 34. And it's because timing, and that's the only. My dad didn't really like the color of the truck because he was looking for I think a black or a different color, but he ended up getting like a brown. He goes, "Hey, that's cheap. I'll take it." And so if you're not picky in colors, you can get really good deals at the end of the quarter, end of the month.
So what's the strategy with doing that? Do you end up going to the dealer and be like, "Hey, which is the oldest car you have in the lot, or which are you trying to get rid of?" Or
no, well, sometimes they'll put those out in the front with a really discount price, and then the way you know it's the one that they want to get rid of, it says, "Oh, do you have it in another color?" And they'll say, "No, this is the only one we have at this price." And by then, you should already know what the going rate for that vehicle is, and you already know, okay, yeah, this is a good price or not.
So you're saying research, right?
Do your research, yeah. Start researching the car you want to buy the beginning of the month, the first 2 weeks, and by that time, you should already know what you're looking for, what the average price is. Towards the end of the month, that's when you start getting aggressive. Go to the credit unions, go to the dealers, and look for what you're looking for. If you could wait to the end of the quarter, even better. And even later quarter of the years, in September, that's when you start getting better deals because you're getting desperate. Okay, we have a lot of cars in inventory. We got the new next year models coming in. We need to start cleaning the lot. Yeah. So those are a couple of strategies that I've learned. Researching.
And then asking them if they have that vehicle in a different color.
Yeah. But I never felt comfortable buying used, but I guess because I don't know how to find something good quality. Because I've heard some people who purchase a used car and it's really good. I mean, you can get one from the little old lady, but then you see that commercial with the little lady jumping up and down, So I don't know. I mean,
the one that we bought, we ended up buying it from Mission Viejo and Infinity. Great service. They're like no hassle, no.
Just giving him a commercial, man.
I'm giving him a shout out. The guy did a really good job. Thank you, Jose, out in Mission Viejo. He did a really good job. We went out there and
that's far though. You drove quite a bit.
We drove a bit, and I think that's the other strategy too. And then we started looking since Friday, and I think we ended up buying it on a Sunday. We were looking. My wife was looking, researching to see where it was, and she was able to see the pictures and the mileage. And the reason that happened, I think we had got out on a Friday, and went to the Honda dealer at the Cerritos Auto Square. And she saw the Infinity that she loved. It was like the Infinity Q50 Sport Black. It looked like the Batmobile. And we drove it, but it had 100,000 miles. Ooh. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get you a 100,000 mile car. And then she started researching, and then we ended up finding the one that como dije, in Mission Viejo. We went out there and really good service out there. Nothing they're not hassling and nothing like that.
I heard some of the credit unions have used car buying service. They can search for the car that you're looking for a specific price and mileage.
I've heard of that too, but I've never really looked into it.
I know the Southland and FNA credit union, they're government type credit unions. They have that service for used car search.
So they search the cars for you, or? Yeah,
you tell them I want a specific car used with so many miles, and they'll put a search for it.
That one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll give it a try. I won't buy anything. I'll just give it a try to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
And then we did the Costco buying some time ago, and that one was pretty simple. You tell them the car, the features you want, and then they'll say, okay, this dealer has it for this price. You want it, yes or no? And if you say, okay, yes, then you make an appointment with the dealer. They don't even haggle you. They say, okay, yeah, this is the price that we quoted you, and you take it or not. And sometimes the prices are good because the way they get a discount is through fleet. That's how these car buying services get. They buy in as fleet services, which fleet means that they're company cars. Right. So when you buy in volume, they give you a big discount.
Yeah. And I know the vehicle, the one that we bought, the Infinity, it looked like it was, and I remember, it was owned by a company, an actual company, and they used it every so often for whatever reasons, like traveling back and forth. But it had low mileage. It was really good. And the guy told us, like, yeah, this was like a company car. They used it here and there. Good car. Good quality. Really good quality car.
Sometimes, like Ford, if you own stock, I think you gotta own 100 shares of, I believe. You can buy cars as family and people that work for Ford. You get a really good discount if you have stock on some like Ford. Right. I don't know about the other car dealers. And then some of the new models, you can't haggle. Like Tesla, you can't haggle anymore. It is what it is. That's it. Huh? It's like buying a computer. You want the car? Yes, no. What features you want in it, and then they'll give you a price at the end. So I think they modeled that after the Saturn. Saturn did that for many years.
But they're not in business anymore. Right?
Yeah, Saturn went out of business. Yeah.
They did good.
Well, GM used to own Saturn. It was like a brand from GM.
Right.
I think what happened with their cars, they went really cheap. I mean, because as far as the car itself, it was like a hardcore plastic. I mean, you would bang on that door and it will pop back out. I ended up buying one of those, and I got into this car accident with a big semi truck, and it hit the side, and you could hear it pop. It popped back out.
What the hell?
And it looked shiny. I mean, the paint job was, you couldn't see the scratch. That was impressive. I really liked it, but I think people didn't like the way the gaps between the doors, and I think that's why they ended up going out of business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember Saturn was big when I was in the service, 2001, 2005. A lot of non-brown black people, white, they would buy a lot of Saturns out there.
It was a good car.
Yeah.
I mean, for the price, I mean, it was a really good car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Now, what do you think about people like versus going to the dealer, paying cash versus financing it either to the dealer, your credit union, the bank?
Well, I think that if, because sometimes dealers have really like, I know like the Volkswagen, sometimes they come out with 0% interest.
Right.
If you have that opportunity to use somebody else's money with like 1%, 0% interest, finance it. Take advantage of that. Because you can put your money in little savings and some money market, and just pay off the car little by little. It helps your credit a little bit, but just make sure you're able to afford the payment. I've done that. I think that could work really well to your advantage. But if you're going to get 18-20% interest rate on buying a car, then yeah.
Yeah, and those car payments are getting up there too. I had a friend who was leasing an Audi, $1,000 a month.
Wow. But see, I don't know about leasing. I think leasing is good if you own a business. But as a private, I think it costs more probably at the end, because I've known a couple people who lease cars, and at the end of the day, when they're trying to turn down the car, if they have a ding, we'll charge them per ding.
Right.
If they have a little scratch, we'll charge them for that scratch.
Or going over miles per year.
Going over the miles per year. It's like you're ended up buying the car plus all the lease, and if you want to buy the car back from them, it's even more expensive.
They charge you. Yeah, I've seen that.
So I'm not sure if it's really an advantage to lease a car, unless you own a business, because business is a tax write-off just by leasing a car.
I know people that leased cars. They were happy, like, dude, in 3 years I get another car. I'm like, yeah, but you're never gonna stop seeing that car.
It's like renting a car,
Yeah.
basically. It's like,
For the rest.
it's not your car. It's
Right.
it's the dealer's car, and I would be more worried that I have to don't get a ding, or don't get a scratch, because I have to pay for it or charge for it. You know.
But no matter how much you take care of your car, there's gonna be somebody else that at the marqueta's gonna open the door, you chinga, and you're gonna hit your car and forget it.
Especially the raza, man. They see a nice car and boom, they go, so.
There's haters out there. People are gonna come out there and I didn't see your car with my shopping cart.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, the way I beat that, I park for.
But we've done that. So we started doing it with the Infinity. I don't know what the hell it is. So we would park away. It would help out, also stay away from other cars and also the exercise.
Yeah.
We'd come back and there was a car parked next to us. It was like, dude, you have all these other parking spaces
right next to you.
right next to us. Like, come on. So that was, that happens too.
Or we take the oldest car to the marqueta.
That's true.
This way, like, okay, that one gets dinged, it's already dinged up.
Right.
Yeah, we get the nice cars to when we go out, the ugly car to Home Depot, to
The hoop
the
deal.
hoop, yeah.
Get around.
Yeah, get a ding on that, who cares?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's the raza, man.
It is. Now, have you heard of anything being able to purchase vehicles cash? Do you get a better rate?
I don't think
Do
so.
they not care?
I don't think
The
so.
dealers?
I think the dealers, that wouldn't make a difference. I really don't think so.
Right.
I've never done it, but I've always tried to get the lowest interest rate or zero interest rate and let the bank finance it.
Right. Have you ever tried to walk away from a dealer and be like, nope, and just
Oh,
kind of as a kind of like your poker face? Go
Oh,
around
yeah.
and be like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy it, and then walk away and see what they
All
get
the
back.
time. Especially if I'm trying to get a deal and they don't want to budge. Okay, see you later.
Yeah.
I've also been experienced walking into what was the dealer? I think it was Audi. I was looking for a nice car. I wasn't sure between an Audi or BMW at the time,
You're
or
balling out.
Volvo. I was gonna go buy a nice
You're
car,
balling out, bro.
and I walked in. I had the car rental. I walked into the Audi, and nobody ever came out.
I'm done.
Not a single person. I said, "Oh, I guess
You were
I'm."
just walking around,
Yeah,
trespassing.
nobody ever
down,
came out. And then I went to a Volvo dealer, and yeah, they saw me, came out, and that's where I ended up buying my car.
Did you dress differently though? At either place?
No, it's just the same.
You dressed the same. Okay.
Yeah, I think some of these dealers, depends on the car you drive in, that's how they judge you.
So also I was asking because I've seen you outside of work. I mean, outside of this podcast, and you don't dress like you come from money, Dan. You dress down, but similar to me, I don't dress up.
I don't like showing off.
Right,
You
right.
know, I don't like showing off that. To me, a t-shirt is as good as a shirt. I don't need to wear a suit, and I'm not gonna go pretend I have a lot of money and then get charged a lot of money from the dealer. And I give you some stories. I mean, when I had a construction company, I went to we were doing this really large job, and I had to go pay the material. And that day, I had to stop at a job site. I don't know what I did. I ended up getting dirty. I go, I'll just go to the afterwards. So I ended up going to the store to drop off the check. They looked at me. Nobody would come out. I just waited in line. To finally somebody says, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm here with so-and-so construction company." "Oh, really? Come on in. I'm sorry we kept you waiting." And their tone changed. At the time, buying,
Right.
millions of dollars worth of
Yeah,
lumber.
of course.
So,
And now it's probably worth billions, huh? With the price of wood right now.
probably. But what happens is that they treat you different.
Yeah.
Banks, suppliers. If you're a high volume customer, they do treat you different. And I think it shouldn't be the way you dress. I think it should just be who you are and the person you are.
But you think that these businesses would know type of stuff like that, right? Because there's quotes, there's stuff, research to show that sometimes people that come from money don't dress up. They don't spend money on that type of stuff, right? Unless you're like hyper ultra rich.
Well, I mean, there's that 1%. The movie stars. But even some of the movie stars. You look at the guy from American Idol, Simon. He always wears a T-shirt and drives a Rolls Royce.
Him. Look at Mark Zuckerberg.
Mhm.
¿Quién más?
T-shirt, marks up or black T-shirts, right?
The same thing, and I think I read someone like
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. I mean, simple. They purchase like Mark Zuckerberg. I heard purchases the same type of clothes every day. He doesn't want to make a decision as to what he wants to wear because it just takes up too much mental energy. So he buys whatever it is, the same shirts or sweaters or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Shit, like one per day or whatever it is in the year.
If you're interested in learning about the way people, like who are the millionaires in the United States, there's a book, The Millionaire Next Door.
Okay, I've heard of it, but I never read it.
It's interesting. It'll open your eyes. The average millionaire, it's not the guy living in Beverly Hills. Most of the average millionaires are in upper middle class neighborhoods. They'll drive a decent sized vehicle, not too new sometimes, not too old. You wouldn't tell that they're millionaires. And I've met a lot of people that way that you would think, yeah, these people are not rich.
Right.
But once you get to know them and know the type of business that they're doing, well, yeah, they're rich.
They're rich out.
Yeah,
They just don't show it. They're not
Don't
wearing
show
the red bottoms, Gucci, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These people that I met, they could get up and go and anywhere they want in the world in first class, and you wouldn't know it. But yeah, I believe that lifestyle more than the flashy one.
Right. I agree with you. Because I've seen people that are flashing and it's like, bro, you're not.
Well, they're flashy, but then they're living check to check.
Or at their parents' house.
Yeah.
Or
Exactly.
somebody was telling me just this week. They were telling me that they have a car payment $500 a month. I was like, look, that doesn't include insurance. That's just the car payment itself.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to know my car payment, right?
No, I know that. But you can afford it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how this person. I mean, they're affording it. I don't know how.
Well, I think car payments have to be based on your income. It has to be where
Well, this person has no income to show.
maybe there's been some side stuff that the barrio you got selling Avon, selling La nalga here and there, who knows, man?
Yeah, I don't know how this person does it. I don't know. He was telling me, like, yeah, but he doesn't have a job, no steady income, no social, no.
So how does he survive though?
We can't figure it out. I can't say too much,
Yeah. Does that person have, maybe he has a bunch of kids and the government's giving him all this money now, the welfare.
That person has, I think, one kid.
Okay, so he gets $300 a month now.
Now.
Wow. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people like that. How do they make it?
Right. Yes. Now I'm shocked. I'm like, dude, how do you?
Maybe Papi from the other side pays for it, man.
Zaddy? I don't know. Maybe he's got a Zaddy. I don't know how he does it. But I've heard payments 600, 500, 600. And it's like, fuck, my friend that I was telling you, $1,000 for the audio. I was like, fuck.
That's a
just to lease it.
That's almost. That's a lot for leasing.
Right.
Wow.
That's what I thought. I don't know. Not my style. Infinity, I think, is as much as I'll go.
So there's my take on buying cars, new and used. I don't know.
And I think we could even dive on it a little bit more. Maybe in future podcasts we can talk about, or videos, we can talk about specifics. How does the credit union differ from like a regular bank, from the dealership or the dealership? I'm sorry.
Well, I think they're about the same. I mean, when it comes to financing, they don't vary much. I'm not sure if we could really tackle the differences. The key is looking for interest rate.
Right.
What's your interest rate and the terms of number of months.
Right.
One thing I wouldn't recommend is the extended warranty. That's a bunch of scam.
You think so? I've heard of that.
It's a scam.
Well, why do you say that?
My very first nice car that I bought, I ended up getting it, and then something broke down, and it didn't cover nothing.
What the hell?
Yeah.
It's bumper to bumper, except for the part that you needed.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I think what broke was the mirror, the center mirror broke, and it didn't cover it. Like, why do we pay for that? Well, it covers everything else except for that. So
that's probably one of the cheapest things they could do for you.
Yeah.
After everything you're paying.
I don't recommend it. And even since when you buy extended warranty for like house appliances, it's cheaper to just.
Yeah. I did extend my home warranty though.
Home warranty is different though.
Yeah.
Because usually when you're buying a house, you're already swamped with fixing up the house, so you might not have a lot of that disposable income.
Right.
So for at least the first 2 or 3 years, it's worth to have. But after that, once you get back to your regular financing, your whole household, getting used to the new household budget, you got to get rid of it.
So that's what we did. We extended it, and like within the month after extending it, the garage screen door broke. So for $75, they came out, they fixed it. No problem.
No, I think for the first year, maybe 3 years, it's worth having for the home warranty. But after that, I'm not sure if it's worth it.
I'm trying to keep track to see what breaks down and if it's even worth the $500-$600 a year. So far, I've spent $75. So I'm going to keep track.
I don't know. I mean, unless your boiler, things that go bad is your boiler, your furnace, your air conditioner, electrical outlets. Those are the things that usually go bad. Other than that, because I don't think it covers like clog sink, clog. I don't think it covers any of that.
Well, we're Mexican. We take care of ourselves. That part we take care of.
True.
Making soda, vinegar, and
for what?
For the pipes. For a clock pipe.
I use dishwasher soap.
This Dawn?
Anyone. For like clogged toilet, just put the dishwasher's soap and pump it up, and so on.
And you clean it at the same time?
It doesn't clean it, but it works. Now, if that doesn't work, then you got to go the chemicals and the tripa, get the
garden hose.
The garden hose works as well really well. I've done that. If none of that works, then I'll have to call the plumber.
We did that once. We ended up calling this company. Ramja Hooter wrote similar to that, right? And the guy came out and he was like, "Oh, it's gonna cost like $2,000 to unclog your restroom because it's your main line, and then we gotta get a permit from the city, and it's late at night. They can call the cops and this and that." I was like, "What the hell?" I said, "Well, just don't worry about it."
Next time, call me. I'll hook you up with. I think his name is Jose.
Well, we ended up doing it ourselves with the manguera. We put a rag around the manguera, and then a screwdriver to hold it in there. Yeah, it was full blast, and it cleared out. Yeah, it seemed like it's not $2,000.
Well, most of the time, you could probably unclog it just by getting it's a little gadget that you put in the water hose that fills up, right?
Right.
Is that what you use?
We just stuck it in the manguera like that.
Oh no, dude! And Home Depot they sell this like almost like a tripa
Uh-huh.
that you put it on the hose, and what it does, it blows up as it's filling up, and it shoots a lot of pressure.
Right.
So you put it in the pipe, and then you just let it run for 20 minutes, and boom, suddenly it just clears it up.
Yeah. We didn't put these plumbers out of business.
No, because there's certain things that
Yeah.
that you got to get the plumber to come out.
Yeah, the whole piping situation. I mean, we would do the, ¿cómo se llama? When they do the hydrojet
Yeah,
on the main one.
yeah. If it gets that serious, then you got to get a plumber. But yeah, some of these companies, yeah, they take advantage, especially if it's at night or weekend. You know, some time ago I was working on my backyard, and I was gonna change the whole strip, and ended up breaking it. It was on a holiday, and like I ended up calling my plumber friend. He came out, welded the new one, and we were done.
Nice.
But yeah.
Damn. Did he charge you a good price or did he?
No, it was like $100, $120 at the last minute on a holiday. You know the well?
No.
Oh,
Mine's
okay.
worth that cheap.
No,
No, I'm just kidding. When they weren't duct tape, yeah, was.
no, you can't do duct tape on that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, I hope you're not doing the plumbing at your house.
You'll see. When you come over, you'll see water washing in a few weeks. See what's going on over there.
Maybe like the Three Stooges. Water's all over the place.
Flooding the house, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you said you wanted to talk about recycling.
Yeah, I want to talk about recycling. So last week we had Sarah on here, and she was giving us her strategy for paying off her debt. And one thing that stuck out for me was the recycling part. So for me, recycling is good. My son does it. He recycles. But here's the kicker with recycling. I think sometimes people aren't aware when they go buy, let's say this bottle right here, right? This bottle here, Fuji. They buy a bottle. When they buy it at the store, can you buy it at the store?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So they buy it at the store. You're charging California redemption value, right? They're charging you up ahead, 5 cents, 10 cents. If you don't recycle it, you don't get your money back. Now the companies kept their 5, 10 cents. But if you're recycling your stuff at home, entonces you get your 5 or 10 cents back, right? But you're not making any money. You're just getting your money back.
Technically that's a deposit. That's what they call it. It's a deposit.
Right.
And in the old days, you go take a bottle and get your 10 cents, but they don't do that no more.
Like in Mexico they do it. You gotta go take it back. You almost.
Yeah.
But these, all they're doing is just giving you your money back,
Mhm.
right? So for me, recycling would have to be, you'd have to maybe go out there and start picking up, recycling other people's cans, bottles, glass, whatever it is.
Yeah, because you're getting there. You know, I'm not sure if recycling is a way to really pay back
Right.
debt,
Right.
unless you're doing high volume. Because let's say, how many bottles are you going to have to drive up to the recycling center to get at least $100?
So my son right now takes 8 to 10 13-gallon bags, right? Of all plastic. And he'll get maybe $32, maybe $35 out of that.
And how much did you spend on gas to take them? And your time.
Let me see, from where I live to Maywood, I don't know.
See?
You know?
You probably spend more on gas, but
Right.
as far as for your son, I think it's a good way of showing, okay, yeah, working at it, doing a little bit, and he gets, you know, I'm sure you let him keep the money.
Oh, yeah, he uses it on video games, so which is better for us.
Yeah, so I think for learning tool, I think it's good, but as far as to use that as a source of income, I'm not sure if it's worth it.
And it'd be a lot of work too. You see some people that actually do it, right? They go out and they start picking containers, but I think it is a lot of work.
Well,
it is.
I mean, I remember my grandfather, for many years, he went around picking up, you know, what do you call it, aluminum cans and bottles, and yeah, but he would take volumes like a truck. Then it would be worth it because it would help them, you know, in a week he would fill up a truck and bombs and pay the household whatever he needed. Yeah.
How long would it take him? So you said a week, huh?
Pretty much, he would go out every day. He would walk probably 3-4 miles a day, and by the end of the day, he would have I think like 2 carts fulls. And at the end of the week, he would take it to sell. I don't know how much he made. This was back in the 80s, But I know he bought my grandmother a brand new car one time, so I guess it worked out for him. But back then, there wasn't a lot of people recycling.
Yeah. Now you have a ton of people.
Yeah, you got everybody going after the recyclables. I think back then people would just like, here, give it to him.
Right. Yeah, before it was that, you didn't think of whatever else.
He would have his route and they would give it to him. But now I think there's competition.
There's a lot of competition.
You know, there's people that do cardboards, who do, what do you call it, aluminum,
Right.
all those.
Glass, the bottles.
And I think it depends on the time period. Sometimes it pays well, sometimes it doesn't. I remember my son, when he was young, we took him to sell newspaper. And we filled up the car. It was a lot of newspaper, and then he got like $2 or something like that. He goes, I'm not doing this again. So it depends on what you're recycling. You know, if you're recycling copper or recycling, sometimes that pays really well.
Well, the kind of conversion I heard pay pretty well.
Yeah, but
you know, it's illegal.
you get caught. And
Yeah. So the other thing too is I don't even know if they give you your 5 to 10 cents per bottle or per whatever it is that you're taking. Now what I've seen where I take my son, they weigh it.
Yeah.
Based on this weight, you're gonna get to. I don't know. I haven't done the math to see if it's worth it. If I'm getting my money's worth.
you would have to count the number of bottles you're taking, and then based on the weight, and see if you get the same. So next time, why don't you count them?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I think we're supposed to go on Sunday.
And then count the number of bottles that you're taking, and okay, you're supposed to get this much, and we'll see if you get more or you get less. Most likely you get less.
Should I confront him?
Oh, you think?
No, not my son. The people.
Are you gonna fight them for 20 cents? Go to jail for 20
For my
cents?
20 cents, right? If I was taking 20 cents from them, it'd be a problem. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
We'll see.
I have a feeling it's probably gonna be on their side.
On their side, huh?
Yeah, I would doubt it if it's on your side.
I'll probably throw a glass bottle. See what happens. No, I won't. And then the other thing I want to talk about too was the space Virgin Galactic. So I think a couple of weeks leading up to Virgin Galactic, Richard Branson's space flight, their stock was at about $9. I had a friend from Chicago who he told me that I purchased Virgin Galactic at $9 a share. Perfect. So once it started getting closer to the space flight, he was Richard Branson was going up. It jumped up to about 44, 45.
Oh.
It jumped up a good amount. So I don't know how much he made, but he must have made some good money off that $9 to 45. I don't know how many shares he bought. It's going down now. I think they're at 33 when I checked earlier today. They're at $33. But I suspect that in a while it's going to go back up again.
When next flight or anytime they do something special, aren't they also doing the loop train or something like that?
I don't know. I thought that was another company, but I don't know.
No, I think Virgin also is doing something with that the loop. What do you call the bullet train? Yeah. It's Virgin Galactic, and there's like 2 or 3 companies, but they're one of them.
Right.
So I think once they do another test run on that or another flight, they're stopping.
But I think now they opened up a little bit more, and they got the approval from the FAA or whatever to fly up there. I think it's going to open up a little more.
Who's going to pay 20,000? What is it?
250,000.
Yeah, who's going to pay for that?
The ultra rich, the hyper rich.
But even if I could afford, I don't know if I want to spend 250,000 just to go up there for 3 seconds. Now, if I was going to go up there and be in the space station for 2-3 nights, that would be worth it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
After I get past the scary stuff.
Right. And that's the other part too. I couldn't do it. That fool was what, like 70-something years old? Going up there 53 miles up? It was crazy.
I don't know. Because how did that one take off? I didn't get a chance to. Did it take off like a rocket, or did it take off like a plane and then just?
It took off on another. It had like 2 pilots. It was like connected like this, right? In the middle started Virgin Galactic. On the side was 2 other planes. I think they had 2 pilots, 1 pilot on each side, or maybe 2 pilots on each side. And they took them up there. Once they reached, I forgot the height, the altitude, and entonces they released it, the Virgin Galactic one, and
It's kind of like free fall.
it free falls for a few seconds, and then they hit the rockets, and then it went up another X amount of miles.
But does it go up like straight up, or does it gradually go up?
I think they were gradually going up.
See, that might not be bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a plane, like a regular plane.
Right. But it was like double the height of a plane.
Well, I mean, once you're past 10,000 square feet,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were up like 70-something thousand feet. I was like, ugh.
once you reach the normal height, and at that point it doesn't matter. You're gonna die.
Yeah. You know, they have the other one, but it's a private company. It's the one that Jeff Bezos is going to, or the Blue Origin.
Yeah.
They're doing their flight soon too.
I have a feeling over the next 10 years, you're going to see a lot more commercial flights going up there. And I think it will become popular. And like I said, if they have like a space station where you could go and stay there for a couple of days, then I could see people like, okay, I want to do that.
But Virgin Atlantic was saying that they have 600 reservations. People are already making reservations for their flights.
Wow.
So personally, for me, I'm investing. I bought a few stocks already. I'm going to go ahead and continue investing.
Think they'll give you a discount?
I'm not going to get enough flights.
You won't get it?
No, I haven't. I'm afraid to fly now.
Really? You don't go on regular planes?
I do, but I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, me too, but,
I do it.
if you want to get that adventure, you got to get on a plane.
You know,
No, pues sí.
I only have $250,000 now. And then to be two of us, that's $500,000.
You can do that in a couple of years.
That's true. That's true. I'm almost there.
Yeah, no, once we get all the, your debt paid off, your house paid off, then what are you going to do with all the money you make? And that's where you would have a chance to do that.
I'm donating to charity.
Yeah, you could donate.
I'm donating.
I think, yeah.
I love helping people. I love helping.
Go back to the hood.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. That's one of the things that I really want to do, is go back over there and invest where I came from to help other people come up. That's my thing.
Well, I think there's multiple ways you can do that. There's one is what we're doing now is teaching them the way out. And of course, money.
Yeah. I'm looking more like into the sports programs and stuff like that. But that's in the future.
But why sports? I mean, what about music and art?
I love music. Music is for me.
Everybody's doing sports programs. What about the kids who have 2 left feet?
You talking about like dancing classes or?
Oh no, it's just they're not coordinating.
That can help too. That can help. But I'm thinking more of the sports because a lot of research shows that if you keep somebody busy, sports, education, work, it keeps them out of trouble, right?
Yeah, but there's other things besides sports. Not everybody does sports.
That's true. I don't do sports.
Yeah. No, I'm not a sports.
Me neither.
I'm more of a music and.
Me too.
You play music?
I DJ.
Oh, well,
Sometimes.
okay.
Mainly in my bedroom, but doesn't make money. Yeah.
That's good. That's another way of doing side hustle, right?
Yeah, side hustle.
Now, do you do it for fun or you do it because, like, okay, just extra income or?
So both. I really enjoy it, and it really depends who you are too. Some DJs they charge a crap load of money. I've heard some DJs that say that they don't do any gigs, any weddings, any quinceañeras for under $1,000. They start at $1,000. So for some people, it's really good money. Then there's others that charge $50 an hour or whatever. And they're staying on lower end. They stay consistently busy, but also so do the other guys that are making $1,000. I haven't charged anybody $1,000, but I'm gonna work my way up there one day. But it's good money.
So if you get a chance to be one of those DJs at Vegas, would you do it?
A superstar DJ?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You don't want to do that?
I don't think so. No. But I don't know. If it happens.
If it happens, it happens.
So you offer me a job or?
No, I'm just curious. If that's a passion that you really make into a career where like,
I don't know. I don't think I want to do something. No, I don't think I would. I don't.
You'll be the viejito DJ there.
Yeah.
Still playing the old school stuff.
The 80s and 90s. Oh, and Bismarck, he died today.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. Speaking of music, so.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he was young too, 57.
Yeah, he was 57.
Yeah.
He had diabetes.
Really? That's what they hadn't said what it was, but yeah.
See, they said it was complications with diabetes.
Diabetes is a big killer in our community, and it's because of the way we eat. The chicharrones, the tostadas, the carnitas, the bread, pan dulce.
Tortillas, the doctor told me tortillas, Hispanics got to stay away from those. Anything with harina.
Oh, that's my favorite, man.
Harina?
Well, yeah, tortillas de harina, man.
That's true.
Especially handmade.
You know the burritos? But again, we have to be educated to about that, We're being able to reverse type 2 diabetes.
Well, I think part of it is one is culture. I mean, the food you used to growing up. But the other day I was driving through South Central. Every other street there was a liquor store.
Yeah.
And what do they sell in liquor stores? Papitas. The Doritos and
the
Cheetos, the Takis. Of course, beer, but nothing but junk food. I know that. I think it was LA County. They passed a law where those little stores now have to provide some fresh vegetables. Well, that's if they want to stay open, they have to start showing. They have to have a percentage of fresh vegetables to those stores.
I know that. I gotta go back and look to see if there's anything out there.
I don't know if anybody's doing it, but I know they passed it about a year, 2 years ago.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. And so, which I think hopefully that starts changing, where people are eating more healthier. And
I hope so too, but I know a lot of the millennials and the Gen Z, especially the Gen Z, they're the ones that are coming out with a lot of healthy food. A lot of healthy food. So that's a good step.
but that's the white stuff. No, it's not the Mexican. The Mexicans they don't believe in that.
That's true. That's true. The older generation, they're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
No,
No, but even the newer generation in the barrio, they don't follow that stuff.
That's true.
They just
There's a lot of
want
education to be done.
yeah,
That's where you can go later.
to be like what was Mrs. Obama, where she planted a vegetable garden in every neighborhood.
Did she?
Oh no, her goal was in the White House, right? Didn't she plant a vegetable garden? She was teaching kids how to eat vegetables.
I know she teaches a lot of school stuff, a lot of the food from the cafeteria with Sam. Yeah, I heard about that. And a lot of kids were happy about that. To help people.
Well, I mean, they have to be able to do it, but in a way where it tastes good.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
That's true. I don't think anything healthy is good. Or delicious.
No, I think so.
No, I'm joking.
I think you could. You just gotta learn how to cook. Besides with the, I remember growing up. I mean, the manteca was a big thing, and then suddenly they kind of got rid of
Yeah, I
that.
remember that. My aunt used to cook manteca, and I was like, what the fuck is
You
that?
get the big block of lard and put it in there. Man, you know what? The food tastes good though.
Yeah.
This does taste good.
The Farmer's Chow, the red one. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And even that comedian Felipe Esparza talks about it. He said, dude, he used to cook manteca fucking third grade. He had a heart attack playing kickball. He's joking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we have all these illnesses now that we're older, because of lack of exercise. And
Sedentary lifestyle. Yeah. Early education. Is always good.
yeah.
Fast.
So what's the next stock that you want to buy?
The next stock, I haven't looked into it. I was hoping, and I hate this, but Blue Origin is not open. It's not public, so it's private. Blue Origin, that's the one with Jeff Bezos, and then the other one, I'm hoping SpaceX at some point becomes public.
I don't think that's going to
You
go.
don't think so? There's talks about it.
You really think so?
I hope. There's talks about it, but
Nah, he's making too much money off of that.
that's true. That's true.
Why would he go public, especially now that he has a lot of money coming from his other companies?
Right.
Yeah, I think he's going to keep that as
His own.
little side gig and little money. But hey,
The one that I did see going up, the stock was Moderna. For whatever reason, this week it just went up. I don't know if people, because of the Delta variant, more people are buying into it, or more companies or organizations that are purchasing more Moderna vaccines. But it's kind of a good amount. So that might be the next one to purchase. But it's going up, so I want to get it before.
I don't know. I think it's later than that. Same thing with Pfizer.
Right.
I wouldn't buy Johnson & Johnson, especially after this last week.
Yeah.
The syndrome, plus the issues with the females on the vaccine.
What happened there? How do you
Right when he came out, there was like certain types of females, age I think 30 to 40. I think it had to do something with with some birth control pill or something. It had a cross contamination. Something didn't work real well, and they ended up getting strokes or something like that. So that was like the first no, and I think probably because if you really look at Johnson & Johnson, it's one shot, so it has to be twice as potent than the other ones. So I think that also has a.
And then Johnson, I haven't looked at the stocks, but I think they may be going down again. Did you see their sunscreen for Neutrogena?
They're the ones that make that? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Neutrogena and Aveeno.
It's not a good year for them, man. Yeah.
And then they had Greece. A while back, they also had the other lawsuit, right, for the talcum cancer. The talcum had cancer, or causing, or may have caused cancer before. Or, so it was a big lawsuit about that.
Wow, I did not know that they own all those.
Johnson, they own a lot of stuff. A lot of medical stuff.
It's interesting that, you hear this one company and they have a monopoly in a lot of, like Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble is another big one. What's another big one that we buy? General Mills.
Yeah.
They have a lot of these, it's probably like 3-4 brands, and they own a whole bunch of sub brands. Yeah.
There's a bunch. We don't even know it. Look, Johnson & Johnson, Neutrogena, Vino, they own those.
Now, how many are like Mexican owned?
I don't know. Probably
Did you hear about the Cheetos guy? The one that hot Cheetos?
I
The
did.
Mexican
The
guy?
janitor guy?
Yeah. There's controversy that yes, he did it, no, he did. It was not. I'm not too sure what's the real story behind it.
I was thinking about that. I did hear on the radio they were saying they can't confirm the story, but they also can't deny it.
Why is that?
So
They made him, what is it, vice president of marketing or something, or president of marketing. They gave him a really high title.
Right.
So if it wasn't true that he was not the one kind of invented, why would they give him that big title?
So the other part I was thinking is, if it wasn't true, why not say it's not true? Like, why allow it to continue? And what I came up with was advertisement. Marketing, advertisement, it's in the news, people are talking about it. So I don't know if
Negative publicity?
Yeah.
But, I mean, but at the same time, I mean, they're kind of messing up with that last one. Is it, because my experience, I mean, there's still a lot of discrimination. Is this just one of those, like, no, we can't show that a Latino actually created this and he's a lot smarter than everybody else? Is that really what's behind it?
I don't know. And I heard they were going to make a movie about it too.
Yeah.
Some kind of documentary.
Well, I saw, it was like not a Netflix, YouTube, like, little thing, and they talked about it, how he did it in his kitchen with his wife and did all the spices, and then he presented it to the board. Now, which story is the right one? I don't know.
But it's causing controversy. It's publicity.
Money.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, at least he made money though. At least, I mean, that I think it's true that janitor became zero to a multi-millionaire.
That's pretty cool. Really cool story. And janitors make good money too. I know some janitors that make good money.
Well, if they own a business.
I don't know. I've heard the ones that work at schools.
Well, I mean, yeah, schools, they don't do anything, but yeah,
They make good money.
they just get paid to go empty the trash cans,
They make good money.
especially all the uniforms.
Anything from Ali Unified.
Yeah.
Channel product value is
Yeah. I remember, yeah, the trash cans were empty, but the classrooms were always dirty. The only time the classrooms were really nice was accreditation. I remember when we had accreditation, man, the schools looked beautiful. We're like, wow, this is our school. Unfortunately, they can't keep it up.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
There's always been funny things going.
Yeah.
Always funny.
Okay. I think that's, and we don't have anything else to talk about this show. Or, I think we covered all the items.
I don't want to run out of ideas, so I gotta save some, plant some seeds for next time.
Yeah. So next week, what do we want to talk about next week?
I don't know. What do we want to talk about?
I don't know.
I try to see if we can get some other people, some guest speakers, see if they can come in. Maybe if they have questions también. Pero a ver.
That'd be good. I think have a little bit of debate with somebody, see what they say, and how are their political money views.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, thank you for another episode. Hopefully this was something inspiring for you to watch us, and we'll see you tomorrow or next week. If you want to hear more stories like this, please click the like button and subscribe.
Find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.